Greetings, honorable and distinguished audience. You might have known me through, of course, an introduction, my part in the book. I might be English major of Hong Phong High School for the gifted, have some background in debating MUNs, but that doesn't really matter in my part, to be honest. My part, it's no story about being successful, not about, going from bottom to the top, not about, someone becoming famous overnight. My part is simply a reference, a guide that I provide to you through a story, a part of my life, where I will let you look into how I do things, and therefore you will see for yourself how do you open up yourself to a newer perspective, how you elevate your viewpoint to arguably a better one, how you see things that other people, normal people, would not see, and how to maybe, to some extent, bring forth the betterment of yourself. When reading my part, I would want you to read it not with the mindset you would expect reading a facts book, but rather read it with questions in mind, with doubts. Because, of course, there will be tiny mistake that I expect you to find I put in there, and there will be things where, of course, it doesn't sound reasonable at first, but then as you question it, you actually think about it, it becomes more and more vividly reasonable. So let's come into it. I will give some spoilers for you, a part in my book, right? So my part, through a very summarized MUN flow. Of course, you guys know what MUN is, right? You have seen me present on stage the last time doing sharing on TTS MUN, and most of you would have known it, but MUN is not the main part. The main part is about how I researched through an MUN and what I found out myself about it, and I believe that you would have some thoughts about it as well. The main thing is analyzations and interpretations of information. Very big words, very, very big words, you see. Well, due to time constraint, I will go briefly over it, but I will give examples, see, so you know the word is not that big. It's something that we do normally nowadays, but people often overlook. Now, this method of mine involves two main targets: you yourself and people around you. Let's take, for example, for the analyzation and interpreting information of yourself. We will be talking about a situation that has been going on in the Middle East, in a country that has an A and an E. I know some of you guys may think about it. No, it's not. It's the United Arab Emirates, not that one country, okay? We will be talking about human trafficking. Now, let me give you some information, and from these two pieces of information, I want to hear your perspective, what you think about it, okay? The United Arab Emirates have recently signed various funding and promise with the United Nations to tackle human trafficking regionally. However, they have been faced with various criticism from the Human Rights Watch regarding their flawed kafala system and the lack of enforcement. I'll read again and then I will ask you a question, okay? The United Arab Emirates have signed various funds and promise with the United Nations for tackling regional human trafficking. However, they have been faced with criticism from the Human Rights Watch regarding their very flawed kafala system and lack of enforcement. I'd like to invite someone to share their thoughts, just how you think about the issue. There's no wrong or incorrect answer. There's no right or incorrect. I see Matt. Yes, can you please share your perspective, just how you think about what I said.
Well, I think maybe the reason why is they receive a lot of criticism about not having enough enforcement is maybe because they have a lot of other things to do. Maybe like some other controversies. I think I'm not really deep research into this, so I can't provide anything. Maybe somebody next to me can.
I will invite him later. However, this does not require any deep thinking. However, but on the surface, right, it sounds like okay, UE is helping the world become better. They're funding, signing promises, kind of thing that, but they're being criticized because they're doing not good enough. However, if you look closely, you analyze the information. How does a rich nation like the UAE have the money to fund the UN projects, yet they cannot solve an issue of their own? Think about it. Isn't this weird? Like a big nation capable of assisting others, promising great things, yet cannot solve a problem of their own? Is something wrong? It is. But you may think that, okay, it's some random thing. However, this shows us a deeply critical aspect. The UAE does not care about its problems. Surprisingly enough. See, in the information era, with these information in mind, you can see, oh, there's a lot of information on the internet, on your, Reels, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, kind of things. And of course, you might overlook this information. It looks very normal on a surface, but when you delve deep to it, when you actually, take a rethink about it, you don't need any research. Just alter the way you think. Instead of just looking at it in simple ways, connect it together. I will show that in my part. I will not do any more spoiler of it, but that is an aspect of how you think about it. Yes. On the second part, I would go deeper. I know it's been long, but now second question. How can we change the way people interpret information? I would like to draw attention to a word called ambiguous. Does anybody know the meaning of this word ambiguous? David.
Maybe the word ambiguous means like it have many meanings and could not easily perpetrate it.
And your answer exactly proves my point. Yes. Ambiguous is indeed one of its meaning is open to many interpretation, meaning having many viewpoints. However, it has another very interesting meaning, which means not having an obvious meaning. You get what I mean? It's not obvious. So when I use a word in a sentence, this matter is very ambiguous. I might mean, oh, this matter have a lot it's open to a lot of interception, or this matter is not very obvious meaning. So this is an issue called wording, and in my part I will show you how through wording you can change people's perspective on things, downplaying problems, even persuade people to your side in an MUN. And maybe you can practice that in real world. Right. So in my part, I'd say my purpose is not only I will convey you the nuance, very so-called academic nuance of the issues, but also I will want it to be a reference that you can consult to, a thing that you can look into it. And I will not, in my part, I will not tell you what to do, but rather, like I said, this is analytical reflections, and I want you to, after you read it, you question yourself, you reflect on yourself, not abide to what I've said, but rather think about it yourself, and then you will realize what is your own way of doing things. In the age of information where misinformation and disinformation is rampant, it can only be up to you yourself to realize what is right and what's wrong. Maybe not in everyone's perspective, but in your perspective. And through my part, I hope that I can somewhat assist you in that process, sharpen your minds. Don't let a repeated lie in the morning work become the truth, if you know what I mean. It is up to us to be aware, be diligent, and be in control of our thoughts. Thank you.
Xin được cảm ơn Norman. What were the biggest challenges you faced when writing your chapter?
And it was, of course, time consuming. But I'd say the hardest of them all is adapting my mindset to a new type of writing, because previously I have only written academic research papers, written stories, but a reflection and a book is something brand new, something that I have never faced before, and finding the new path in such unmarked ground, it's probably the most of the challenges.
Okay, thank you so much.